Reagan Gray, a Sylvan Hills middle school teacher, has been arrested for a crime involving a child. Not only was Reagan Gray a teacher when the crime was allegedly committed, but she was also a volunteer at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Little Rock. When the SA allegedly happened back in 2020, Reagan Gray was a volunteer with the Emmanuel Baptist Church music ministry. She was also a teacher at Little Rock Christian Academy. Reagan Gray turned herself in on a first-degree SA warrant. Now, this alleged assault happened, like I said, back in 2020 when the victim would have been 15-ish years old. According to Emmanuel Baptist Church, they found out about the alleged inappropriate relationship, predatory behavior of Reagan Gray a while back. They turned it over to their Caring Well team, which was formed to assess the situation and determine what action steps would be taken. The allegations are that between September 1st, 2020 and May 31st, 2021, Reagan Gray had SA'd this teenager. Now, Reagan Gray allegedly performed oral on this teenager so that, and this is so disgustingly mind-blowing, so that the teen could stay pure. According to the victim in this case, the activity between he and Reagan Gray happened between 5 and 10 times during the fall of 2020 and the summer of 2021. The victim allegedly told police that he and Reagan Gray would meet in her car or in her apartment for these acts to happen. Reagan Gray also sent nude photos of herself to the teenager, and I'm not just talking about one or two. She sent them on an almost daily basis. She also repeatedly asked him for nude photos of himself, and he said that he didn't remember sending any, but he wouldn't deny that it happened because of how often it was that she asked. He figured it probably did happen, but he didn't remember any specific incident when it would have happened for sure. Now, this is not an incident where the teacher met a student and was involved in an inappropriate predatory relationship with a student. I don't know where they met. I'm guessing through the church, but the victim did acknowledge that he was aware that Reagan Gray was a teacher at Little Rock Christian Academy. Way back in 2020, the parents of this teenager found inappropriate messages from Reagan Gray to their son on his phone, and they approached Reagan Gray about this and told her to stop messaging their son. I think that they were under the belief that the messages did stop, but they didn't stop. The church became aware of what Reagan Gray had done, but she lied to them. She told them that the relationship that she had with that minor was not physical. Now, she was removed from the student ministry at that time, and she was required to undergo counseling by the church. And in counseling, she did admit to having a physical relationship, that's what she called it, with that victim. But after a little bit of time went by, she was allowed to start volunteering again by the church. I don't know what he's called, but a former lead at the church told police when he was questioned about it that he knew about this, that they believed that the victim was 16 years old, that he called DHS about it, the DHS hotline, and said that it was a consensual relationship between a 16-year-old and Reagan Gray, that she wasn't in a supervisory role, and they said that it probably wouldn't be investigated. Now, he still believes that the victim might have been 16 years old. He didn't believe that the victim was 15 years old because he said the victim drove a car. And to that, I have to say, this is Arkansas. People routinely drive at younger ages. Just because someone is driving doesn't make them 16 or doesn't mean anything, really. I mean, literally, when I was 13 years old, my mom gave me the keys to the car and told me to go to the store and get groceries. Like, it happens, right? You can't say, oh, someone's 16 years old for sure because they are driving. That's just my opinion. So Reagan Gray had a $20,000 bond. She did post that bond and she was released. I just don't understand why people do this, right? I don't understand what the draw is to a 16-year-old boy. Have you seen a 15 or 16-year-old boy? No offense to 15 or 16-year-old boys, but as an adult, I don't get it. As for Reagan Gray being a teacher at Sylvan Hills Middle School, she was placed on leave as soon as the school district found out about these accusations. And I think she'll continue to be placed on leave or continue on leave unless she's just completely let go. This is actually her first year at the Pulaski County Special School District, so they're not that attached to her.